So I want to introduce our board. Some were here yesterday, but because of change of time, Prof. Bunny, Honorable Dr. Bosun Tijani, your colleague minister in Nigeria, Prof. Irene. Together, they have over 70 years experience in post-harvest losses, technology, and agribusiness. Our story started when we took a journey from Accra to Nigeria on bamboo bicycles and cycled for 5 days. We noticed something interesting. On the left side, you could see that there's vast lands, but there were very small farms across. And we noticed that because of such a situation, we didn't have a lot of production. So we decided when we came back to build an investment crowdfunding platform that could raise capital from the diaspora, invest in smallholder farmers for them to scale production. Well, as we did that, we realized that it's not only just production, but ready market was also an issue. So we also raised capital from the diaspora to provide ready market for farmers. Within that time, we have impacted about 22,000 farmers. We've traded over $2.2 million worth of commodities, engaged 340 off-takers, and farmers who sell on our platform make 7% more than farmers who sell to regular aggregators. And for the first time in history, regular people, individuals, have invested more than $500,000 in crop production or commodity purchases from farmers in remote locations. It's, like I said, the only company licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission to raise capital and to enable businesses raise capital online from retail investors. So the raising of capital is key, like I said, to transform the entire tech space, because many companies get stagnated because they can access capital. And now our platform allows other businesses to raise capital. But to go deeply into what exactly we are looking at here in GrowForMe, the problem we are solving is a $1.9 billion problem. Post-harvest losses in this country. Literally, we are losing the same amount that cocoa is bringing us. And to give real context and put this in a way you can remember, these are women in northern part of Ghana. This is how they are harvesting their soybean or threshing their soybean. And I'm sure probably this is not new to you. How we solve this is a very interesting story. I want to introduce you to Michelle. Michelle is a young lady that financed a farm-maize farm from her phone on MTN. And the financing she provided was able to provide Rafiatu with seed and fertilizer. Now, Rafiatu, after farming, she paid back for those commodities, for those inputs in commodities. Now, the excess back she has, and other farmers within that area who do not have ready market could simply dial our code or go through the MTN mobile money and choose the commodity they want to sell. Then they're able to say, okay, this is the region I'm in. And the nearest warehouse where I can sell to is Gushegu or Tumu, which is also in the upper west region. So because maybe Tumu is close to her, she's able to tell that Tumu has more than 202,000 cedis to pay her. So she doesn't walk to the warehouse and waste time because she knows there's working capital to pay her. Of course, Alpha, the warehouse manager, will check to make sure the quality standards are met before he approves for payment. And once that happens,
those warehouses belong to who?
Government warehouses.
Okay.
Underutilized, so we come in place, put them in shape, place working capital on the system against that warehouse, and then farmers can easily sell. Why is that important? If you think about building new infrastructure aggregation sites, it does not make the most of the existing infrastructure. So we believe in putting those infrastructures back in shape and deploying capital on our platform to buy from them. But once she gets her money, she can do a couple of things. She can save some of it. Against her savings, she can take a loan at a lower interest rate. And that insurance is key because it protects her investment. Beyond that, she can sell her commodities or request for tractor services. I am dying for you to try that here and experience what farmers experience, if you don't mind. But for the purpose of time, once Alpha has all those commodities, they'll go through our multi-grain cleaning plants. Currently, we invested our own money, well over $100,000 to set this up in Gushegu. And the idea is to set it up across major production areas so that the grains have world-class standards. And when farmers sell it, they get premium price. And this has been validated to be good. Most people who have it put it in Tema, farmers don't get the value of it. So after the commodities are cleaned, they are loaded on truck sliders and shipped to off-takers, locally and internationally. I know there's a ban on soybean, and I have some ideas for you on there. The commodities we play in include soybean, maize, sorghum, shea nut, and cashew. Behind you are some of the samples of these commodities that we play in. Many people, when they use oil, they have no idea it comes from soybean. So Michelle, after selling, gets paid her principal with 9% profit on her mobile money wallet. See how financing from a regular person went across the value chain and brought return to that person and impacted so many people. And that's how we are solving for the $1.9 billion problem. Our vision is to green Ghana. And to do that, every warehouse needs at least $110,000, not to build, working capital to buy from the farmers. With that, we will, at any point in time, Ghana will be able to buy commodities from more than 1 million farmers at any point in time. $110,000 because a 50-footer truck of soybean is about 350,000 cedis. So having 4 of them into clearly sees $110,000 working capital. And this, of course, is revolving because once it purchases and sells, the money comes back to the warehouse wallet and keeps like that, and the cycle goes through. So my hope is that in this meeting, we will be able to work with you to scale to 95 warehouses in 4 years. And this will create 5,400 jobs for young aggregators. These guys, after production, there's nothing to do. That's why they either come and carry things down south or they just waste time. But as aggregators, they make a commission for every bag that they source and bring to the warehouse. And once again, 1 million farmers will have ready markets at every point in time. And the 4-year scale strategy is clearly outlined. Currently, this is where we are. With your leadership, multi-sectoral, multi-ministerial approach, we can digitize all the 95 warehouses. You can just dial star 170. I'm going to do that experience with you.
Star 170.
Hash, yes, please. And option, you select option number 5.
That's the financial service.
Exactly, sir. And after that, you select option number 4.
Pensions and investment.
Exactly, sir. You should see GrowForMe on the MTN mobile money wallets.
Number 3.
Yes, sir. So you select that. And for the first time, we'll ask you to accept terms and conditions because we do a silent KYC at the back, which takes just a second to do. And that's why it's very easy to scale with this platform. So once you accept the terms and conditions,
I want to fund.
Okay, yeah, select 1. I want to invest. I want to fund.
I want to fund.
Yes, sir.
To
Yes.
continue using GrowForMe, you have to accept the KYC. So yes.
1 yes. Yes. And you should see a menu fund. Yes, a menu fund the farm, fund the trade.
Yeah.
So I would like you to select fund the farm. Fund the farm. Option 1. Yes, please.
Option 1.
So the kind farm running is Women in Organic Soybean Farm 2025. These are women in the northern part of Ghana. You can select 1 to see details about that particular campaign. A unit is costing 622 Ghana cedis. The returns between 10 to 23%. And you can select, I believe 100 units would be a good one. So once you enter the number of units, the next screen will tell you the time by which you'll be paid by. You have 2 options, no, try, and then yes. So once you select...
So the payback is going to be on the 22nd of June.
Yes, sir.
2026.
Yes, sir.
So if I say it's either no, try, or yes.
Yes, please.
And the answer here is yes.
Thank you.
Okay, MMI complaint. This is asking me to authorize the payment.
Yes, please.
Approve the transaction, yes. Okay.
A woman with maybe 2 children you've never met is going to get seed and fertilizer to farm. And she's not only going to be able to pay back, but she'll have some to pay for school fees, medicine, and potentially that snake bite that may occur when she's not around. So this is how technology is creating impact and transforming the scenario. But we've not limited this to just MTN mobile money users. We've created a code that allows anybody on any network to access. So Honorable, I'd like you to dial this code, but this time we're going to talk about the farmers.
All right. So
now this time we're going to focus on I am a farmer. I want to put you in the shoes and in
a
the world of a farmer. So select option number 5. Now, I want to imagine you've harvested 2 bags and you live in Gushegu in the northern region and you want to sell your harvest. So Honorable, please select option number 5, sell your harvest. And you're selling your harvest because you want to pay for that school fees of your son who needs it instantly. And it's soybean, so select option number 5. And you live in northern region, so you select option number 2. And the closest warehouse to you is Gushegu, which has 129,000 cedis right now on the wallet. So you want to select option number 1. It's going to ask you, do you want to sell now, get financial check price, and you want to sell it now, you need that money right now to pay that school fees. So your selling price you're targeting is 300 cedis for a 50 kg. So you want to put in 300 cedis.
300 cedis.
Yes, that's your target price for a 50 kg for your soya bean. And you want to sell just one bag. So now you're going to be told what price the platform is going to pay you. And you're paying you 350.
350.
That's way better than what you are targeting. So you want to say yes. So you get a notification that thank you, your soya bean bags have been send your soya bean bags to Gushegu. So the determination of the 350 is a variable of 4 things. 1 is the existing market price. 2 is the market price in local market price. 2 is the demand price, the off-taker price. 3 is the cost of the transaction involved, because when you pay the farmer, we have to cover the cost.
Right.
Or the farmer has to cover the cost when he wants to draw in cash. And then 4 is the committee of decision makers who are in the company that has data across the different areas. So even though you put 300 CDs, which fits into our system, because we have our offices across these locations, we're able to pull the data and say, okay, based on all the 3 variables I've said, plus what our managers on the field are saying, this is the price we're going to give, so that farmers get 7% more than what's on the market. But eventually, AI will be able to do this for us, because it's a lot of data, both on the exchange and on our platform, so that this is real-time prediction of prices. So, Honorable, once you got the SMS that you should send your bags to the Gushegu warehouse, the number of the warehouse manager is there. He has gotten this SMS like instantly. So Roger is in Gushegu. He's gotten this SMS with your number. When you selected I am a farmer, Honorable, you noticed that there were a number of services.
Yeah.
And I'll just speak to them for the purpose of time. So a farmer typically is cut off from the financial services. The first 3 are financial services. Then you have farmer insurance. There's a very critical need we have here. The most scalable insurance product is called parametric insurance. And it cannot be scaled because we do not have real-time access to handset devices if the farmer is on the field. We need a special regulation to enable us to scale parametric insurance. You can see on option number 6, a farmer can sell can get a tractor to plow.
Yeah.
This is key. And we're not just doing this alone. And I want to be very clear that our platform is designed to collaborate with other agri-techs in the space, because no single person can solve the agricultural problems in Ghana. And finally, you can see that the request just came. You can see that there's get a transporter. The transporting system in Ghana is literally all over the place. What our system has done is allowing transporters to join and request to be part of it, so that whenever there's commodities up north and they've delivered cement from down south to up north, they can pick those commodities and make money. That way, effectively using their resources and making sure commodities don't stay up north and go west. We could have built a mobile app, but why is this on USSD? Because from our experience and lessons from MTN, this is the most scalable and deeply penetrating solution. So what I have done, Honorable, was to walk you through the past and the present. What you are doing now is the present, the current technology as it is. Now I want to talk about the future. And that's what I think is the most important part of our conversation. Oh, by the way, if you have friends and relatives in the US and the rest of the world, they can invest online. They don't have to be on the USSD. Yes. We have a web version that allows them to use their card to do all that investment. When you met my CTO at that event with other CTOs and you said you were going to come, I didn't really believe it. But when you said you were going to come, we decided to consolidate our thoughts into a 6-slide presentation. It's very deep, it's high level, but I believe that after this session, we will be able to take or further the conversation and transform our agricultural terrain. So we are looking to unlocking $1.1 billion in the agricultural value chain, but it starts with the Farmer Data Interoperability Platform. We call it FDIP. The Farmer Data Interoperability Platform, I believe, can become your second flagship program in addition to the 1 million coders. Why? I believe you've already experienced and visited Complete Farmer Line, and met a number of agri-techs. We all have our data silo sitting with us, very protective about it. There are many programs and different data collection activities that have happened over the years. 4 different major agricultural data collections. Now, this aggregated data does not help anyone. FDIPS is a platform which we are proposing will connect across all the databases of agri-techs and programs and projects, and allow us to provide, using the farmer's phone number, a single identity that can be now traced across all the different platforms. The interoperable platform allows you to be able to say, okay, this farmer in Gushegu, Yamusa, took 10 bags of fertilizer during the PFJ. He did not pay back. So because we know he sits on the PFJ data, and he went to GrowForMe in the next season and took 5 bags of fertilizer and did not pay, and we know he did not pay, that information now builds an alternative credit score that allows us to say, in the next season when Yamusa comes, don't give him fertilizer because he hasn't paid. However, if Rafiatu had paid every input she received across GrowForMe, Complete Farm, or PFJ, that data sits in silos, and through the FDIP, we can tell that Rafiatu is a very good farmer, so at this time, double her inputs. That is why it's key that the first thing we do is to have an interoperable platform connecting all the farmer databases. Without that, all that I'm going to say would not be possible. So the key thing here is an alternative credit scoring system for farmers, because the farmers form the majority of workers in Ghana and they are not credit scored like the way you and I who use technical things are. The second point is to raise a youth investment fund via crowdfunding, $28.7 million. How? Through the technology we have. Before I go further on this, the African Development Bank launched an expression of interest just last month because they want a company to build them a crowdfunding platform that will leverage just 1% of the diaspora investment in Africa. They're looking at about $500 million available to invest in agriculture and other verticals. Ghana has already launched a regulation. Ghana has already licensed an Agritech platform, not just one intermediary and 2 platforms. Ghana should become the haven of crowdfunding. Why is this important? When you have collected all the data, synchronized it, and you know the state of these farmers, you need to deploy capital properly. You saw the different services: farmer save, farmer loan, input financing, and so on. And not just in agriculture, but aid-related economic industries. For example, when you put aside production and you put aside community aggregation, you have real estate. Warehouses, even in real estate. Housing is a big issue. Collectively, people can invest in housing projects. Machinery, we're talking about adding value to the crops we have. The investments from the United States and other European countries have been cut. We now need to source capital locally from ourselves and do this. And finally, private equity and listed stocks for emerging companies. Once this capital is raised, you want to make sure you are protecting any financial deployment. And that's where the farmer parametric insurance comes in. Why? Because now if the farmer stands on his farm and is opening that fertilizer or that seed, he has a little card with serial numbers he can put in the USSD code. And because the telco is giving us real-time location of that farmer's handset, we can give him parametric insurance for that 5 acres. And that is why, without a regulation to enable real-time access to locations for parametric insurance, we cannot scale the existing insurance product. Why? Because parametric insurance uses satellite images and systems with the location to give recommendations on weather, on moisture levels, and potentially using satellite images, it will be able to tell whether the farmer's germination was unsuccessful, hence the need to give more money for him to buy inputs. Now, after you deploy that capital and farmers have grown, and there are many programs that are giving farmers inputs, so I'm not going to bother myself on that side. But after the farmer has successfully produced, are we still going to have $1.9 billion in post-harvest losses? No. So we are recommending a national community aggregation platform, a $1 billion opportunity, without not talking about cocoa, non-cocoa agricultural products. This platform basically is similar to what I've just described to you on the experience when you sold 1 bag of soybean. But the difference this time is that it allows other players and actors to plug into the system and purchase from farmers at source. Why at source? Because when there are more people in the chain, the price goes up, the farmer is cheating. The National Community Aggregation Platform basically would digitize all the 95 warehouses, put them online, provide working capital for them. In addition, it would allow farmers to come to the warehouse not just as a place for storage, but a place for trade. But most excitingly, the farmer can take that 1 bag of soybean and exchange it for a smartphone. So that with the internet at that warehouse, he can now be part of the 1 million coders and learn something little about technology. Very often in Ghana, when projects are done, particularly in technology, it excludes these people who we work closely with. And we think the warehouse can now move from just being a place of storage to a place of training, knowledge sharing, and opening up to the digital ecosystem. Finally, but most importantly, mechanization has been a very big issue. I know some of the things I'm talking about sound more like Ministry of Agriculture, but no, this problem is multi-sectorial, multi-ministerial, and we have to get all the key people to make it work. But the reason why I think it will be great to drive it from your end is that the solutions will outlive whoever is in power at any time. Because food is something we cannot gamble with. $1.9 billion of post-harvest loss is a very serious thing. So farmers can request for threshers right from their phone. Tractors can leave the warehouse straight to their farm, thresh for them, and they pay in commodities. These commodities can be sold to offset the cost. I was actually in Morocco at Agritech when your response came. And the pitch I made in that proposal was that there has been a ban on soybean export. Previously, there had been a ban on cotton, and cotton sector collapsed. The argument was local processors were not getting enough, so ban it and let us buy. Unfortunately, local processors don't have the capacity and the financial liquidity to buy what's available. So to solve this, we propose a strategy, 1:2 strategy, where any exporter would sell 1 ton locally and get credits to export 2 tons. We call it the export credit digital system. And that would enable us to literally track, give credits for export, and balance between local consumption and external export. And the question of banning would no longer be an issue. So I know I've said a lot, but just in summary, it starts with the FDIP. Pull all the data together. Alternative credit scoring. Raise capital from Ghanaians, particularly for the eight value chains and industries. Provide insurance to protect that investment through a national farmer parametric insurance solution. And finally, farmers at harvest should be able to sell and get paid at the nearest warehouse. And then when exporters want to export, they should just sell 1 ton, they can export 2 tons. That is a summary of my pitch, Honorable. And on that note, I want to finish off with our clear ask, because I've talked a lot about what is the ask. For FDIP, we suggest, and to your discretion, Honorable, that there's a multi-ministerial sit down with the 3 key ministries, MOFA, Trade, and Information. In there, our proposal is 10 CTOs of the top 10 agritechs should be put in the room and given 5 days to hack the solution. For just $100,000, each goes away with $10,000. It will cost us less than to spend millions to try and build a farmer interoperability platform or acquire it elsewhere. And this solution will be strong and robust because it will be built by people in the space who understand it. Please, it's a proposal. Number 2 is the Youth Investment Fund, raised through crowdfunding. And our proposal is it would be a fund that has very robust set of managers on it, fund advisors, where decisions to deploy this capital is transparent because it was sourced from ordinary Ghanaians. Next is the NFPI, the National Farmer Parametric Insurance. Our ask is that you approve a regulation that would give access to real-time locations of handsets just for the purpose of parametric insurance. And the last but one is the National Community Aggregation Platform to solve for the $1.9 billion post-harvest losses we experience. ECDS, the Export Credit Digital System, and that's what I wrote into your office about, so that such a system can be made available together with us to make sure that the question of banning is no longer there.
If I won't do something, I won't tell you I'll do it. And when I say I'll do something, I mean I'll do it. And so when I met your CTO at the event in September last year with President Mahama, in fact, I think your CTO was one of 2 that excited President Mahama in the Agritech space. And when I ran into you again and we had a conversation, I said I'll visit. And then you messaged me from Agritech in Morocco. Look, I'm fully aligned. The ministry has a new direction, and that's the chief director of the ministry, Mr. Alexander Yawafo, and Kofi is policy advisor at the ministry. I'm pretty clear in my mind where we sit and where our focus is. We didn't used to have a director for digital tech or a director for innovations, but with the new direction that the president has given to us, we are clear in our minds that we're going to provide leadership and policy direction on digital technology. And digital technology encompasses fintech, agritech, health tech, edutech. And so in this round of field trips that I'm doing, working visits that I'm doing, we've visited agritech companies, we've visited health tech companies, we've visited software development companies, fintechs as well. And I'm happy to see what you're doing here. I'll make you a simple commitment. The ministry is going to work with you to achieve as much in 4 years as we can on the 5 things you've asked for. The president had a meeting with the Undersecretary, UN Undersecretary. She's head of the UNDP for Africa, Her Excellency Ahune. And post that, she was asked by the president to have a meeting with me. And the UNDP's plan is to have 10 centers of excellence on the African continent. Zambia has been selected for mining, so mine tech is ongoing in Zambia. Kenya, green tech, so green energy and all is in Kenya. Ethiopia is manufacture tech. Nigeria is fintech. Of the 10, there are 5 core. Of the 5 core, 4 have launched. Fintech has launched, Mindtech has launched, Green Tech has launched, Manufacturing Tech has launched. What was outstanding is Agritech. Strangely, they chose Ghana for Agritech. Unfortunately, for 3 years, they had not got any traction. And I made a commitment to her that we would launch it by end of the year. And so when I say the stars have aligned, I mean with that vision to make Ghana the epicenter of agritech and center of excellence on the continent, we're unlocking serious resource to come in, diaspora funds to come in. And I see how that links up with your platform that you built and how Ghana can become that hub that begins to export this crowdfunding arrangement, and exactly what you spoke about with African Development Bank as well, to be able to attract the kind of funding that you're talking about into the agri sector is something that I think we would work on. And so I don't know if you're part of the UNDP's roundtable on agritech. Are you part of that process? Because they have, whilst they were waiting for government to show some sense of direction, on their own, they started putting together working groups of agritechs. I told Ahuna point blank that we were going to take over that platform they had created as the ministry, and we're now going to become facilitators of that platform. And we're going to extend it. So we'll be putting out a public call for expressions of interest from agritechs to come into this cohort so that we can have this conversation. Because we would start by having them as a communication, digital technology and innovation ministry conversation. I need to put all the agri-tech companies together in one room. Get us aligned on what the focus and what the objectives are before I bring in the trade and agri ministers. Because you see, this is technology. And if we are not clear what our goal is, and you bring in a few of the other ministers, we would end up being all over the place. And so I'm going to have Seth, who is the Chief Digital Officer at the UNDP. I'll share your details with him. He'll reach out to you. But we'll do this conversation and invite all of you to the ministry sometime in May or latest by June. We'll have this sit down, and then we will map out what our roadmap is on what you call FDIP, on the commodities exchange and all of that. I'm fully aligned. And reason being, President Mahama is extremely interested in agritech. He's not hiding his passion for it. He's a farmer himself. And so he may be a privileged farmer, but his heart is with the farmer, many of whom don't have access to some of the logistics that he has. And one of his legacies will be to make sure that we democratize the access to funds, to technology, to mechanization for our farmers. And so we'll work with you on this. And I'm happy about one thing. you're not looking for us to do this as a GrowForMe initiative, but as a sector or industry-wide thing, and we'll open our doors to everybody. For as long as I sit in the ministry, be rest assured, we will push it and we'll get it done. We'll get it done. I'm hopeful that by the time Ahune is back here, I told her she'll be back here before December to launch the Agritech Hub. I'm hoping that we can put some actionable work achievements and work. So what we've been able to achieve and what that Agritech Hub will then take up as this project relative to raising funds, crowdfunding, and dedicated venture capital funds as well that will be put in there. The government itself is already committed to putting in between $3 to $5 million from the FinTech Development Fund that we promised, the 50 million fund we promised in the manifesto will channel about $3 to $5 million into this Agritech Hub initiative. And we'll have the building. I explained to them that we're looking to, it's a conversation I'll have with MTN, but the MTN building that's supposed to be donated to the ministry, it's not just going to be used for AI, but we're going to place this Agritech Hub in that building as well. And so we would make sure that we have this center of excellence that we can then begin to scale up. Because you see, that with Agri, we can actually build a unicorn from Ghana, because the agri sector and the solutions you're offering here in Ghana do not speak to just Ghanaian farmers. They speak to farmers in Nigeria. They speak to farmers in Sierra Leone. They speak to farmers in Rwanda, in Kenya, and Ethiopia.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so the only question I'll ask is, so if, for example, I didn't want to put money on the farm, if not soybean per se, I mean anything you're doing, but let's assume that I didn't have enough money on my wallet, and I didn't want to go online, and I came to your shop here and said, here is 20,000, invest it for me. Is that possible? Or because of the platform being digital, it all has to go through, because they're ready to come back to the mobile money wallet from which the monies were made.
Exactly. So it's not possible to receive cash, first of all, because of the regulations in place to prevent money laundering.
I did just one farm.
Unit.
That was one unit, which was 600,
yes.
600 something. Now, that was to fund the farm.
You're funding the farm. The seed fertilizer is what you're actually funding.
Okay, and then when I see fund the trade, what's that?
Good. So fund the trade is the working capital needed to buy from farmers who have commodities but they don't have ready markets.
So then that money goes to the warehouses.
That goes sits on the platform against the warehouse. So when the farmer comes in and they check and it's good, weigh it, they pay him through the system. So Roger has approved your purchase, your sale.
Yeah, I realized I got 350.
Exactly.
And so when you say 1 unit, that's 1 acre, or that's one farm?
We've divided the acre into 8, what we call half a
So that's 1 unit is 1/8.
Yes, one.
So if I were to do 8, that would
acre.
become 1 acre.
Yes, sir.
622 for 1/8. So 8 is, so we said we do 24.
Yes,
that's
sir.
3 acres.
Yes, sir. 32 units.
So that comes to 14,939.1. Is done some 13,581 plus a charge.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So they deducted 14,979. If I add to the first 600, my charge 15,000.
Yes, sir. You have.
I'm waiting next year.
Yes, sir.
When I cash out.
Then you do a video
I'll
exclusive
do a video and
for
show that I have cashed out with my interest.
and which
Mobile. Because now you are laughing at me.
I will be happy for you to take a trip up north and get to meet.
If I'm not farming, but I'm putting disposable income into someone who's actually farming and guaranteeing that farm, it's a full cycle. I get back to benefit from it. So I think that we would look at it as a ministry, and with my colleagues, Honorable Eric Okoko at Greek and Honorable Elizabeth Ofusujari at Trade. And again, she's not just trade, she's trade and agribusiness. or look at how to build a national campaign around this with the UNDP when we start this agri-hub thing. If boys and girls have the appetite for staking, as you see, and that market is huge, if we're able to even get 10% of that staking money on a weekly basis into agriculture. Look, my simple ask to the betting community will be simple. When the Premier League goes on break between May and September, you bet every week. In that 6 weeks or 7 weeks, invest the money into agri. It's an agri league. Let's set it up as an agri league. You know, so an off-season agri league where there are no active matches, but since it's a culture that's been built, you want to stake. Even if you won't do it during the regular season, during this off-football season, let's invest, and you'll be shocked how much money we can galvanize in 7 weeks. It's crowdfunded, you know, and invest into the lives of our farmers. I think that, I mean, it's building in my head how we can do this, and with my colleague ministers, we'll figure out a national campaign around this to get people to put some money, not just individuals, but even corporates. You know, we're seeing the government ask state institutions to go into farming. I know my big brother and boss, Omane Boama, is getting the military to move into farming. It's been a good time here. I'm extremely grateful for the insights you've given to us. This is not going to be the end of our engagements. It's actually the beginning of our engagements. And prepare yourselves to do a pitch to my colleague ministers as well on what we can do together. But I'm confident that we'll get this done.
As we sat here and I heard your ideas and listened to you, I know you will take it further than we can. And at the end of the day, for us, what we are interested in is seeing the vision in reality. If it's not us, it doesn't have to be us for it to become a reality. So we want to support in any capacity to make this a reality. We'll give our blueprints, our research data to inform these decisions.